Hi everyone, so in this video we're going to be doing some hand painted yarn dyeing and we're going to be using our High Desert Bear yarn. So this is yarn that we are prepping to get ready to do some hand painting, some variegated yarn, as well as some speckles. So again, we're using the same acid dyers and they require acid to activate and stick to the fiber. So we're not putting the acid directly into a dye bath this time. So what I did is I used some warm and room temperature water in this soak, and I put the citric acid directly into this bath. And so they've been soaking in the citric acid, so they'll be nice and saturated with that acid directly into the fibers already. So as you're taking your fiber out of the initial soak, you don't want it to be sopping wet. You don't want to leave it like this. So just gently wring out any excess water. And if it drips a little bit at this point, it's totally fine because it's just water. Okay, so now we're gonna do some hand painted yarn. So I have the same candy cake pan that I used for our speckled yarn. Cleaned it out. I laid down 2 of our hanks inside, just like that. So hand painting yarn is similar to tie dyeing, where you apply the dye specifically where you want it to end up. So you can mix your dye in like squeeze bottles. You can do it in cups just like I'm doing, but again, once dye hits an item, it is not food safe any longer. So I have about a half a cup of water in each of these. I already mixed up my red dye over here. So I'm gonna mix up some yellow. So again, I got about a half a cup, and I'm gonna put about a half of a teaspoon of dye into this water here. And I'm gonna use some yellow. And each of these are about a 1/4 teaspoon. So here we go. And give it a stir. As you can see, this color is really, really saturated in this little bit of water, and that's exactly what you want. So now you have a couple of options for how to put the dye on to your fiber. If you're using squeeze bottles, you can just pop the top right off and squirt it directly onto the fiber. If you have some paintbrushes, you can use that to kind of dab and put the color on. For me right now, because we're doing so little, I'm just gonna pour it over top. And since we're only doing 2 different colors, it'll be good to go. And you can mix more dye in batches. You can do a full cup and add add a whole teaspoon of dye stuffs. You can mix as much or as little as you want, but since we're just doing a smaller batch, I wanted to do some small things. So just like with our speckled dye, we're gonna put some aluminum foil over top of this and put it in our oven, about 300, 325 for about half an hour. So something else that you can do if you wanted to, you can do some speckle over top of this. So once again, just be aware of the colors that you're using. Like with this, I would use blue. I would sprinkle just a little bit on so you could have some hand painted and speckle stuff going on. So that's the process. I hope that you found this video informative. Thank you so much for watching. If you dye anything, go ahead and tag us on our Instagram. We would love to see what you guys make. Bye.